This is First Reality, a comic fantasy written and read by Ryan Starbloat. This release is sponsored by you, hopefully. To purchase the ebook edition, visit my website at www.starbloat.com. This story contains made-up swears and some sexual innuendos. Episode 19, Breathing Underwater. The fairy woke up right as the last chapter ended. Just how her chapters split up. There was no need for a new chapter. "I'm free! Free!" yelped the little fairy. "Yes," said "Thanks to us." "Oh, snap," she said in a high-pitched voice. "How much did you get for me?" "I should have been way more expensive than what you 6 rogues could afford." She noticed Serena. "Great, another sex slave. Looks like it's back to dancing, hanging out of open body parts for me." "Ew," said Serena. "No, you misunderstand. We're saviors. You're free." "Really free," said Tony. "What? Really?" Her entire demeanor changed. "What will I do now? All I'm good at is being a sex slave. It's like taking a wild chalk bar and putting it in the zoo. Or the other way around. I have small parts." Now, fairy," Aros said, trying to get her to quiet down with some hushes. "We'll help you get on your feet." They were at the pond where oxyale was harvested. "In fact, we've got a job for you." "Oh, really? Oh, boy. My first gig as an independent prostitute." "No," clarified that one red mage. "We need oxyale from this lake." "Oh, oxyale?" She surveyed the water carefully, dabbing her tiny fingers and making ripples. "I'll pass." She yawned. "I don't feel like it." "Fairy, please," urged Zoc. "We saved you from—" she responded. "Left me bereft of my sure, albeit slave, income." The warriors assisted the fairy in their most daring and dangerous undertaking yet, enrolling her in community college, where she could learn her trade, and other possible employment opportunities that aren't literally related to wrestling genitalia, under the kingdom's stipends. As the village's most demanding upcoming career is prostitution, she decided to go into business for herself. The Warriors of Lights, being such, disagreed with the fairy's poor decisions, but her mind was made up. Anyway, she was so grateful she offered them all complimentary orgasms. But, once more being the unquestionable good in this tale, they declined with disappointment and integrity, asking that she please just get them oxyale. At last she did. "Great," said Aros, "and it only took 3 months." "It's given us plenty of time to plot our storming of Hornak to the woman's submarine," said Serena. They were all in the airship's hangar bay, which always had a hangar bay if you must know. "Without losing our pantalones," said Zoc. He was wearing goggles over his eyes. Not that you could see anything besides their round yellowness, as usual. "Ready, team?" asked that one red mage. They checked their parachutes and jumped out of the airship, above the ground where the submarine was calculated to be. Meanwhile, it was decided that would stay behind, as there was only enough oxyale for 5, and was a wimp about direct combat with the fiend. Rightly so. Not even the prospect of buried treasures could coax him this time, as he gathered enough things in this journey to afford the equivalent of a medium Starbucks coffee in our world every day for the rest of his life. I respect decision. I don't see you taking oxyale and diving under the sea to do battle with a sea monster. And someone needed to tend to the airship while they went over the top to skydive to a submarine. Because obligatory action scene. They missed their target, having no apparent prior skydiving experience, and landed right at the edge of a waterfall. "Ah!" one of them shrieked for dear life, but it was too late. The Warriors of Lights didn't die. Main characters, you know. Instead, they had a rough landing behind the waterfall. Into the waterfall's secret belly that you really only see in movies and always has snakes. And never harmless snakes. This story is without snakes, at least for now. But the 5 did see a robot. Huh? How about that? We got robots now, too. The robot was pretty thin, but tall. "This cube," the robot said. "It's important. In his claw hand was a metal cube. "Robot," said that one red mage, "we have need to infiltrate a submarine in Hornak to save the world from Kraken's wrath. Will you help us?" "No, there's been a lot of budget cuts and time constraints, and I'm an expensive segment," said the robot. "I can only tell you to use this cube when you reach the floating castle." He tossed the tube to Tony and shut down. "Darn, okay," said Aros. "Come on, guys. Let's take this oxyale now and storm the dock. I can see the submarine from here." "They've only got one shot," said Zoc. "What do you say we phone our friend?" "How long do you think that'll take?" Serena asked. "Fran it! Go, Zoc!" said Tony, and Zoc performed his first summoning spell. In no time, but time enough just to skip over entirely, Radude was flying towards them, and they were being hoisted from the waterfall's robot room to the submarine. Radude busted through that waterfall like it wasn't a thing. Some of the Hornakians caught sight of the warriors and got real horny again, like freaks do, but when they saw the dragon, they were stupefied, and resorted to hot leg porn in their rooms. The submarine was commandeered without any violation of leg rights. "Hey, Radude," said Aros, "we could really use your help against Kraken." "Dragons can't swim," said Radude. "Right then. When we come back up, we're going to need your help straightening these people out for good." "How long are you going to be?" "I have a dentist appointment. I mean, I'd chill all day, but you know." "We understand," said Zoc. "What time is your appointment?" 3:00. "That's just as long as our oxyale will take us," said Aros. "Perfect," said Radude. "Then you'll do your little message, and we'll have just one more fiend to take out." "Yay!" shouted from above in the airship. After entering the submarine, Aros, Tony, Serena, Zoc, and that one red mage descended the ocean's depths to the sunken city in Kraken. Now that is a good place to start a new chapter. Oh well. In a frenzy of fish and bubbles, they soon knew they had reached the sunken shrine. It was once called the Unsunken Shrine, long before a conflagration of fire and smoke sunk it, said "Carrie," said a livid Serena. "Actually," said "they tried to invent fried seafood and there was a great grease fire." "Yuck," said Tony. "So much destruction in the wake of genius," said a sympathetic Sock. "When we get out of the submarine, do you think this oxyale will really work?" Ados wondered. "It doesn't have to," said that one red mage. "The sunken shrine should have pockets of air. I heard the mermaids, although unable to lift their home back to the surface, have made the best of things down here in the freezing depths, at the cost of isolation from the outside world. All of a sudden they were hit by something from the outside." "Oh no," Serena said. "Some kind of fiend is attacking the submarine." "Curse you, Cliché Sea Adventures!" cried out Tony as he punched the wooden submarine control panel. It wasn't that they couldn't just go out and fight whatever it was that was attacking them. Thing was that if the submarine broke, they would be unable to reach the surface again. "Oh no," said Zoc, looking out the window. He fainted. "Zoc, buddy, we haven't even started fighting yet," said Aros, frinning low HP. "What did he see?" asked that one red mage. "Was it Kraken?" As they approached the window Zoc had been looking out of, they saw some bull snap approaching. "No," said Tony. "You're kidding," said Aros. Another collision, only this time the attacker headbutted its way into the hull of the submarine, revealing himself to be none other than Crazy Vampire Seahorse, said Crazy Vampire Seahorse. Water came pouring in. "You jerk," said Tony. "I have defeated you now, with my newly acquired water abilities, for I can breathe underwater with oxyale, unlike you fools." "Franning idiot, we have oxyale," said Serena. Snap. "You are destroying our submarine, though," pointed out Aros. "Will someone give Zoc a phoenix down?" Sheesh. "It is of no consequence what you give the black mage." "He's a full-fledged black wizard now, Crazy Vampire Seahorse," said Serena. She revived Zoc. The water was pouring in quickly, but the wizards were trying their best to patch it all up, which is why they weren't all freaking out like you think they should be in a situation like this. "Well, yeah, then," said Crazy Vampire Seahorse. "Who is this?" asked that one red mage. "It doesn't matter," said Tony. "He's out of his mind." Correction, said Crazy Vampire Seahorse. I'm in of my mind. Surely now we shall have a great battle to the death, as I have needed ever since our first encounter outside of the Chaos Shrine. You all must know each other, commented that one red mage. Well, Crazy Vampire Seahorse, I've hoped you've gotten stronger, said Aros. We warned you before. Oh, I'm stronger, said Crazy Vampire Seahorse. Wait, but you're a horse. Can you even swim? Asked that one red mage seriously. Obviously, I crashed into you, didn't I? Oh, Crazy Vampire Seahorse, have you just been waiting for us to come down here and fight Kraken? And you don't even know how to swim? Asked Serena. I have to go. Crazy Vampire Seahorse attempted to dislodge himself from the submarine with his hooves, but he only made the damage worse. Are you stuck now? Asked Aros. No.
Ah, dude, you're stuck. How's this, Crazy Vampire Seahorse? We're going to defeat Kraken, then go to the surface together and teach you how to swim, followed by a fight to the death? Suggested Tony.
Really? You guys would do that? Sure, Crazy Vampire Seahorse. We really want to kill you for good, said Serena. Ah, gee, that means a lot. I mean, hey, I'll kill you first. Then Kraken won't have to. You're working for Kraken? Asked that one red mage. How do you think I got out of that ditch? You sure do get stuck a lot, don't you? Listen, why don't you park the submarine, then wait for us to come back? Asked Aros. You trust him to park the submarine? Asked that one red mage. Of course, said Serena. He's a horse. I don't understand. You don't need to, countered Crazy Vampire Seahorse. I will go nowhere until you have returned, but when Kraken defeats you, I shall still go nowhere. I'm stuck to a submarine.
After Crazy Vampire Seahorse dropped them off and wished them a good day at school, they were greeted by mermaids. Indeed, there were plenty of pockets within the sunken shrine's depths of oxygen and dryness for the dialogue necessary to the plot.
That's a pretty neat trick, breathing underwater, said a ginger mermaid to the Warriors of Lights. There were also mermen, fat mers, and mermaids with disabilities. The Warriors of Light's arrival had excited them greatly. Kraken is quite a bother, said a merman elder. He scratched his rear fin end. Never thought I'd see you here. Kind of anticipated being gypped out of that prophecy.
Though the Warriors of Lights were never said to be able to breathe underwater, we did feel as if we'd be excluded from saving.
Perish the thought, said Serena. We love saving things. I was afraid we were going to become bubbles, said a retarded mermaid. Yep, retarded mermaid. So where's Kraken? Asked that one red mage. Our time is somewhat limited, and our ride is questionable. Kraken resides below our underwater society. He possesses the power of the water, and is no joke to fight. I hope you are prepared, said the elder. Better believe it, said Tony. Before you go down there, please don't hesitate to look in some sunken treasure chests for things you might find useful. Thank you, sir, said Serena. Wow, you're so sensible. Every place we go usually has an unbelievable quirk to it. That you don't is a treasure in itself, said Zoc. What do you know of Hornak's leg fetish? Asked Tony randomly. No clue, the elder said. It's a terrible thing. As you may know, Hornak and the Unsunken Shrine were once one community. Then the tragic failure of fried seafood. We heard word of their leg fetish sometime after Kraken came and enslaved us. We plan to act on the village's impulses, said Aros. Ew, said a mermaid. We mean put a stop to them, amended Serena. As the others discussed the plan, Zoc and Tony strode off to talk about an impulse of their own. You know, besides being a different species than us, these mermaids are very normal and hot, said Tony. I know, man. You thinking what I'm thinking? They approached a group of mermaids hanging out eating. Hey, ladies. I'm sure you've heard who we are, said Tony. May we point out that in all the lands and places we've been, you mermaids are the most beautiful and the most sane, said Zoc. This method of approach towards the mermaids proved unsuccessful, even after the 6th try with a pair of bodacious mermaids. I don't get it, Zoc. Why aren't we hooking up with mermaids? I don't know, Tony. Perhaps we're coming off to Hornak? Oh no, I hope not. No. I was just thinking, usually the villagers we save would love to get with us, only we always refuse. Because they smell bad, or they're awfully stupid, or they're particularly uncertain about what sex really is. So why do quality women elude us? Finally they found their answers as they queried yet another catch. Haha, catch, fish, mermaids. Dear madam, you are looking quite beautiful this day, said Tony. The brunette mermaid looked up from reading a book and saw it was Tony, the warrior of lights who had been hitting on mermaids all day. Dude, I'm a fish. The most ravishing in all the sea, mind you, replied Tony. You'd really like to sleep with me, wouldn't you? Well, Tony said, blushing. Fish don't have vaginas. Oops, said Zoc to Tony. You just got schooled. That was First Reality. The next episode will be released next Wednesday. To find out what happens sooner, this book is available on both Amazon and Kobo. Thank you so much for listening. My name is Ryan Starblow. Enjoy your day, yourself, and your mind.